Central Park was once Seneca Village, home to a prosperous free black community. Seneca Village was a predominantly African-American village spanning along what is now the western edge of Central Park. Created in 1825, the village was flattened and people were forced to move to make way for the creation of Central Park in 1857. By the 1850s, black people in Seneca Village were 39 times more likely to own property than their counterparts throughout the city. About 30% of the population were Irish and German immigrants who lived harmoniously with their black neighbors. The community was said to have had connections to the Underground Railroad, with abolitionist Albro Lyons owning property and living in the village. In 2011, a group called the Institute for the Exploration of Seneca Village History collaborated with the Central Park Conservancy to excavate the site. It is important to understand that Seneca Village was only a small part of the area known as Central Park and not the entire thing. After this message, we'll go into more details. I want to talk a little bit about a new affiliate, Nagast Footwear. They are a black-owned company that makes some of the best quality shoes, clothes, and hats that I've seen in a very long time. They are designed to empower customers and to teach self-love, self-respect, and self-confidence. I've purchased some of their footwear, and they have lasted me well over a year. Nagast Footwear makes sneakers, running shoes, slippers, boots, hats, and clothing. I love my slippers. I love my sneakers. Even game show contestants love my sneakers. Click my affiliate link below to visit their site to browse and to shop. Every purchase helps me grow this platform. About 3 decades before the creation of Central Park, the area was home to Seneca Village, a small settlement founded by free African-American property owners, one of the first of its kind in New York. The community, which had 3 churches and a school, stretched between West 83rd and 89th Streets. By the 1840s, Irish and German immigrants moved to the area, making it one of the few integrated communities during this time. In 1853, the city took control of the land through eminent domain and destroyed Seneca Village to make way for Central Park. Eminent domain refers to the government's power to take private land for public use under certain circumstances. In these instances, the homeowners typically are entitled to compensation for their loss. The community's history was largely ignored until 2011, when the excavation occurred within the former village site. The group found thousands of artifacts, including household items that revealed signs of middle-class life. Last year, the Central Park Conservancy launched an outdoor exhibit to teach visitors about Seneca Village.
Seneca Village was a community of African American, Irish, and German immigrants that existed in the 19th century in an area that was known as the Pre-Park area. It was roughly between 82nd and 89th Streets, between 7th and 8th Avenues in New York City. There were about 300 people that lived in the community, particularly towards the end and towards its demise. And we've been on this mission to find descendants to help tell this story.
Andrew Williams was one of a number of African Americans who were free, and in 1825, Andrew Williams purchased land in Seneca Village for $420, which was a lot of money then.
Andrew Williams was one of the early settlers of Seneca Village. He was there in the very beginning and he was there at the very end. He was a bootblack, he shined shoes for a living. Later he was a cartman, and he was someone that we were really, really interested in and really wanted to try to make connections.
I've been able to find 4 generations, and one of the descendants is Andrew Williams' great-great-great-great-granddaughter, the 4th great-granddaughter, Ariel Williams.
Cal Jones reached out, and I remember that first week of us connecting, we had so many calls and try to help him connect all these missing puzzle pieces and connect my entire family back to Seneca Village.
And she is like the family historian, and she gave me some understanding of everyone in the family. All the men were named Andrew Williams.
So the name Andrew Williams continually gets carried over throughout the entire family, and the only variation is the middle name changes. It's absolutely crazy that they all look alike, and the name is still carried out to this day, and my brother also being named Andrew Williams.
And the women had started with A rhyming and being as close to Andrew as possible, right down to Ariel. So it showed a lot of family pride. Andrew Williams was not a formally educated man, but he's a sharp man. You could see it in the moves that he made. He immediately protested about the takeover, first of all, but it seemed as though he felt his property was worth about $4,000.
As the records show, Andrew Williams was offered an amount for his space in Central Park to get him out, and he responded to that request with a counter stating, I should be at least given this much money. Unfortunately, that was not an agreement that was made, and they were actually given way less money and forced to leave the park.
So he did the protest, but of course it didn't matter, it didn't work. Then they took the property. He got paid $2,335 in April of '56, and by June of '56, he had purchased land in Newtown. So here's a man that he didn't waste any time.
Through kind of my studies and my understanding of the Williams family from all the research that I've done, we were very resourceful people. And with this new land, he was able to really start to invest in Andrew Williams II's education. He was the first one that was able to read and write, invest in other different things as well, and continue to be a property owner. And so after Andrew Williams II, Andrew Williams III was a very educated person, a musician as well, and actually traveled the world and attended what is now Columbia's music school today. And he had a son, they moved to California. My grandfather started a security business that my father worked with him on, and they're both in law enforcement, and we kind of grew up in California the rest of our lives.
What is really meaningful is to find a family in a time when it was very difficult for blacks to survive, let alone free. And to see someone who was taking care of a family, working and saving his money, and always showing a sense of family.
Being in the park where Andrew Williams' house was located was really a little bit overwhelming in a good way, and that so many people would be interested in learning more about my story and about my family and our involvement with Seneca Village and where we went after that and what happened after that.
What Seneca Village has put into focus for me is the importance of history.
History is just absolutely the center of everything that we do. It can have a profound effect on who we are as people.
Now I feel very connected to not only my father, but my family. I understand the pride behind my name and understand where I came from and the traits that I took from those people and why my father was the way he is and why I am the way I am today.
History is great. You have to know your history. You should know where you came from to know where you're going.
For African American property owners, Seneca Village provided residential stability and investment in the future. Another incentive to owning property at the time was that it gave African Americans the right to vote. When the city used eminent domain to acquire the land, residents were compensated for their property, but they had to leave by 1857. After they dispersed, all traces of the settlement were lost to history. Since the 1990s, scholars and archaeologists have been working to bring Seneca Village's history to light. They uncovered stone foundation walls along with the artifacts previously mentioned. When you get a moment, do some research on Seneca Village, and let's make sure it's never forgotten to lost history. Learn more about Seneca Village at the links below. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Find The Awakening Frequency on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Research is key. Always do your own research and never just listen to what people tell you. We are The Awakening Frequency. Out of the millions of potential subscribers, we just want to reach one so each one can teach one. Peace.